Hi there, and welcome to my Stellaris Let's Play, Advanced Strategy, Tips and Tricks. This is episode 18. In this episode, I'm going to look at Federations and the Crisis, the third Civic slot, robot modifications, ship experience, increasing your fleet speed, and war doctrines. I hope that you enjoy the episode. Welcome back to the League of Isavera. We are in the year 2272. We've just successfully completed a war in the last episode, and we've got a number of worlds, which are the spoils. We've got this world, which is their old home world. It's important to note that we still have the prosperous unification modifier, even though this isn't our capital, we didn't prosperously unify here. And that does work. So if we look at one of our population, we go to producers. As you see, we're getting a plus 10% from the prosperous unification. If you look at the happiness, we're also getting plus 15% from prosperous unification, which is part of the reason that this world is so stable, even though they've got a minus 20% happiness from conquered. Because if we move to one of the other planets, here we are, this system, you'll see that we're slightly lower on happiness, slightly lower on stability, because our workers are simply not as happy. They don't have that extra 15%. So we'll now be looking at our next and future conquests. Our northern border is completely locked down and secure by this fallen empire here, the Holy Guardians. And our tributaries hopefully going to, or I say hopefully, is almost certainly going to fill up this space over here, which will be really quite useful. And then in other parts of the galaxy, we have the 0-1 extrapolators. They're still overwhelming in comparison to us, 504 fleet power. And we have our neighbors. They're now equivalent, which is fine. We've got the Federation, they're equivalent too. But if we look at our fleet power, we're at 180, so we're slightly below them. So in terms of naval supremacy, we don't have that. But economically, we're leaps and bounds ahead. We're producing 123 alloys per month at the moment, and we're producing 1,000 science, which is why we have such high pop 678, economy 492, technology 495. If we look at our neighbours, they're at 180, 203, 328. So as you can see, quite low. We check out the diplomacy rating of the 0-1 extractors. They have reasonable economy, it's not quite ours, and reasonable technology, 456 as opposed to ours on 495. So they're definitely not too far behind, but we have the lead. Next, so at the moment we're still going to be looking at sorting out our planets, making sure that we have reorganized and restructured our economy after that war we had. And then we're going to be looking at our next target. What we might want to do at this point, because we want to be having a federation soon, so we want to be going to the diplomacy. And so after we finish this supremacy tree, I'm going to be opening the diplomacy tree up next. And either forming a federation with my neighbors here, or trying to work my way into this northern federation up here. They're already level 3. I mean, it's a martial alliance. I don't think that's the best federation type. Different federations give you different bonuses based on the level, but it's very important in the late game to get a level 4 or level 5 federation, because that's going to give you an additional bonus of 25% or 50%, depending on the level and the federation, to your damage to the end game crisis. If you combine that with the perk, if you combine that with the Defender of the Galaxy perk, you're going to be up plus 100% damage to end game factions, which means that, each of your ships is going to count as 2 ships in essence in terms of damage output. Yes, your strength won't be double, your toughness or your hit points won't be double, but you'll be able to destroy a lot more ships a lot easier. So if you're up in the 5 times, the 10 times, the 25 times crisis strength, that's going to be super important. I think this game has 2 times crisis strength, but I can't remember. I have to go back and check the settings. So let's get going. And I'm just going to go through my planets and check that we're not too high on our housing. If we get to -5, we'll start losing our pop growth, which is definitely something we don't want to happen. But -1 to 4 is basically not a problem. And I'm also checking, as usual, that I have at least 1 job available. So you can see this planet here, I don't have a job available, so I'm going to need to build one up. So what could I do with more of them? More energy credits. I'm fine with the alloys. They're happy with amenities. That'll be because I have a reasonable number of robots there probably. So I'm going to build this generator district on this world. I've had an event pop up, conscientious objectors. I think I'd prefer them to have the militarist trait. Now this isn't really going to matter that much except with pleasing your factions. And my militarists are much happier with me than my pacifists. So I'd much prefer them to be that the spectre of war looms over us all. And that's the species I uplifted, the rochoids. Let's have a look at them. I think they are... Here are the rochoids. Yep, uplifted. And good. So we've had a space piracy issue. Let's take a look at that. Where is that? So, 500 fleet power, that's something. It's spawned over there. That's because I haven't sorted out my trade routes yet after the war. Yeah, that needs to be dealt with. So what I actually need to do is this one here. I need to get rid of these two anchorages, and I should replace them with some hangar bays. Or alternatively, actually, I could put hangar bays on this planet, and I think I'll do that because I don't want to lose my anchorages. But while I'm doing that, I will definitely deploy the fleet. They are 500 fleet power. What are they? A few ships. So this fleet here, interestingly, is going to get there first. Now, if we just run this in, so 279 days to arrive, 387. Now, that's really quite important. The reason for this is this fleet has corvettes. The second fleet just has cruisers. The first fleet has corvettes. Even a single corvette in a fleet will, because of its increased speed and due to the way that Stellaris works out how fleet speed is calculated, having a single corvette in a fleet will drastically increase the speed at which that fleet moves. So I'm going to send out my corvette fleet and deal with the pirates. So even in the late game, it's good to stick 1 or 2 corvettes on your battleship fleets just so that you can increase their speed. Now, I mean, if you've got a really extensive gateway network, maybe it would be okay. But it can be, if you don't have that, you really need to have some corvettes on your species. So now let's look at our unspent civic points. Now, I'm going to assume that these 2 civics here, whilst I don't think they're fantastic, I would probably pick different civics to start my empire. I'm going to assume that I picked civics that I really like, I really wanted, that were good early game civics. Now, in terms of what I could reform my empire into, I'm dictatorial, so I've got an extra edict. At the moment, I'm only using 1, which is definitely something I should change. I've got plenty of influence to use a second. And actually, that second one, I think I might go with capacity subsidies. How many am I getting from jobs? So 413. I won't be getting 20% of that extra. I'll be getting an extra 20% bonus to my jobs, which means if I go to, let's go to a planet, we can take a look what that would look like. So here we have some technicians. So at the moment, they are at a total of plus 45, roughly 90% extra. So they're going to go to 110% extra. That's not massive. So whilst I have the edict available, I'm not going to use the influence on it right now. I might take fortify the borders, just so I can upgrade my star bases to star holes quicker, because fortify the borders is going to give me a 50% boost to that. And let's take a look at my... Do I have the... No, I don't have the upgrader for my leader. I've got quite a good leader here, actually. And now that they're a cyborg, they're going to live for a long time. But this leader's given me extra leadership, extra leader experience gain, leader level cap, a little bit of unity, and mining station output plus 10%. I'm happy with that. That's quite a good one. And this national purity for extra influence is fine. It's not the best. I prefer the research one, absolutely, but it's good. So coming back to my reforms, I'm going to only look at the civics that I don't want to take at the beginning of the game, but which can be quite useful in the mid game and at this point. So which ones are they? So diplomatic corps is fantastic. This one here, plus 2 envoys, plus 10% diplomatic weight. That would boost us in the galactic community by an extra 30%. And that 30%, that's an extra 30%, could be a real big difference for us. That would be somewhere in the region of 600 extra influence. And that can be the difference between being able to reduce the council size, give yourself special new powers, and not being able to do that. Especially in larger games, more influence is definitely good. So that's whilst it can be an overlooked civic, is a really good one to take. Another one that I definitely recommend at this point in the game is Byzantine Bureaucracy. Now, it doesn't seem that great, +1 unity, +1 stability, but I have now got, on some of my planets, I have administration offices, and just a couple of them. And I've tried to sprinkle them throughout my space. And the reason I've done that is that if I take, which I'm probably going to take now, if I take this Byzantine Bureaucracy, I'm going to get +1 stability and +1 unity out of my bureaucrats, which suddenly means that my bureaucrats are actually producing something useful. And that also means that between your if you have 2 bureaucrats and 2 entertainers, between them you'll be producing just as much unity as 2 culture workers. And you have to have the bureaucrats anyway. You want to be reducing your empire sprawl once you're getting a larger empire around this mark at the 300-400. And I'm actually going to be building more administration districts, or buildings even, to catch up with this number, especially as my empire goes up. So I really want to be getting something out of them. And an extra stability is going to give me a +0.6% resource output across the board. So that's Byzantine Bureaucracy, sprinkling, as I said, these administration districts across your world. That can really help in the mid-game, just to boost up your unity production, but just general production overall. Now, whilst there are some other civics here which are definitely good, technocracy, everyone knows that's very powerful. Producing unity from my researchers would be fantastic. That's a civic that you almost always tend to take at the beginning of the game. Taking it now, first off, would destabilize my worlds a little bit. The science directors don't produce as many amenities as my administrators, and they have slightly different outputs. So I wouldn't actually want to switch into that, because I'd have to then go and change all my planets. I would like to take this at the beginning of the game. It's a strong one, but I'm not going to take it now, because, as I said, I'm assuming the first 2 civics I took were the ones that I want to keep in the long run. So really, the 2 ones that I'd always look at here are Byzantine Bureaucracy, Diplomatic Corps. Which other ones are there? So I'm here going to take Byzantine Bureaucracy. I'll spend the 250 on that. And now what that's going to do is increase my unity and hopefully increase my resources across the board. Let's just take a look at technology quickly. What do I want to take? So I could get better armor, better alloy plants, but I think actually this mining station output is going to help me across the board with all of my worlds. And that's quite a quick tech. I can re-roll into other things. So let's just end the month and we'll see what our production goes up to with that extra bonus. Fantastic. So that's boosted our food, our minerals, that's boosted our unity quite a bit. And now we're going to be getting through the supremacy quite a bit quicker. At this stage in the game, I want to be aiming to get up to 500 unity soon, and I can do that with more worlds, my administrator jobs are going to be producing unity, and now my bureaucrat jobs are producing unity, and also, as I said, boosting my stability. And it now makes sense to upgrade some of these administration offices on a couple of my planets to be that across the board. Let me here just build I could build a crystal mine. Actually, I think I will build that crystal mine. That's going to be quite useful. And then I want to build, I've got plenty of jobs there. Where do I not have many jobs? Well, here's a bit of an issue. I am now going to, I'll remove the city ruins. That'll help. And then I'll build a district. But while I'm doing that, I will upgrade that administration building. Yep, that will help for sure. And which robots am I building? I'm building those robots. Something else that's important is robot templates. Now I'm going to show you, I researched the technology, but I haven't upgraded my robot template yet. That is definitely an oversight. I'm going to go show you my preferred robot traits. So something I think is quite a simple one. I'm going to put high bandwidth in there. Extra empire sprawl from pops. I don't mind that. That's not a problem. I'm going to increase my assembly speed. I want more pops as soon as possible. And then because I'm not going to be micromanaging what jobs these guys are doing, and I'm also going to be putting them into the synthetic path so they'll end up working any job, I'm going to go with efficient processors. Now this only costs you your 2. This fills in your original trait picks you get from the modification. I'm also going to change their picture. I like changing the picture of my ultra robots or my robot upgrades just so I can see what they look like. Now, looking here at the pops I'm growing, I could choose to prioritize a species for growth. If I were to do that though, I get a pop speed modifier of minus 20%, which is awful. I don't want that. So I'm never going to choose which pop grows. On the other hand, I can choose which robot to build, and it won't be an issue which one I do. If I change in the middle of building, I'll lose some assembly progress. So even if I change, I was on 72.6, I'll change and now I'm on 65.3. But the bonus I'm getting from an extra 15% is going to outweigh that quite quickly. So actually I'm going to go through these and change them all over to Ultra Robot. I could just wait for the robots they're building now to finish. But if I were to wait, it would be slower in essence. It will set to a template you've built after it's finished building these production here. The game's not stupid, absolutely, but it's not instantaneous by any measure. Here I'm going to take my fourth. Both of them are fine. I'm actually going to take the reduced upgrade cost. That's going to help me out. And actually at this point now, given I've taken that, I'm also going to take Fortify the Border. It's going to increase my Empire Sprawl a little bit. That extra 10% from systems is basically nothing though. But it will mean that now when I upgrade these star bases, it's going to take me almost no time at all. I'm going to take the improved strike craft, absolutely. And then I'm also going to throw some alloys around. So I'm going to upgrade this star hold. I will upgrade. I'll upgrade the capital, my shipyard. I'll upgrade here. Fantastic. So we've knocked them out instantaneously, and we will return home. What I'm not going to be doing now, though, is rebuilding destroyed corvettes and destroyers. Once they're lost, I'm just going to leave them at this point. I'm hoping to get into battleships soon, and then I'll be flying a mainly battleship prioritized fleet. And then Naval Logistics Office is good, but Fleet Academy is fantastic. Ship experience is actually really good. So if I go to my ships, you can see that each ship has an experience level. Based on the experience, that changes the damage output of your ships. So here we are looking at experience. Experience gives me plus 10% damage. Do I have any better than experience? Let's have a look through. So I think they might all be experience. They are. Okay, so if I just build a single ship here at my capital, we'll be able to see what a unexperienced ship looks like. So I'll just build a single corvette. So here we are. I've added a corvette to this fleet, which will increase its fleet power, but I've got regular, which means that I'm not getting a bonus. You get experience, and then there's one level above that, which I think gives you a 20% bonus. Yes. So it's good to fight with your ships. It's good to keep them alive, and it's good to upgrade them because they're going to be giving you a higher damage output if you do that. Fantastic. Now I've got proton launchers. I'm actually going to choose neutron launchers immediately because that is a brilliant technology. And I'm going to go to my ship designer and I'm going to change it to put proton launchers on my carriers. So at this point actually I am starting to need better reactors, so I'll have to look at that the next time. So actually I'm going to throw in a single reactor booster. If I can put an advanced shields in with that, no I can't, so I won't bother with that then. I'm happy with the armor shield outputs there, and I'm going to have quite a high damage output from this. I'm also going to go over to my destroyers and I'm going to change them up a bit. Now my destroyers are going to have a slightly different role. They're going to become artillery, and I'm going to put proton launchers on them. And what this is going to do is this is going to be a long-range weapon, basically until I've got battleships. This and my cruisers are going to be firing at high range and firing quickly. So now, oh goodness me, the 001 have gone to war, which is kind of what I thought was going to happen. They are probably going to destroy these two empires. They're going to completely eat them up. So we're now going to need to be getting ready to fight that determined exterminator. To do that, I'm going to take the naval cap. I still don't have destroyers, so I'm going to take the increased build speed just because it's so low on its progress time. And what I want to do actually at the moment is change it. Brilliant, I have a Voidcraft expertise, so I'm actually going to change that over. Oh, it doesn't have brain slugs though. Oh well. I'm going to change over, so I've got this Voidcraft expertise. Yeah, I mean this guy's good, but what I really want to do here is I want to be trying to roll into the battleship technology. And having Voidcraft is going to increase my chance of getting that technology, which is going to be super helpful and important for us. Because once we get battleships, our fleet power is just going to explode out. At the moment I'm kind of saving my alloys up to get to that point. Do we have battleships? No, still no battleships. What can we take instead that's the cheapest? I think it's going to be this standardized destroyer patterns, yeah. And then I'm going to do another sweep through my worlds, as ever. Don't build gene clinics, never build gene clinics, simply ignore them. I actually want to build more energy districts because I'm kind of running low on that. I'm selling into energy, that's why I'm positive, but I'm not actually producing positive. I should stop buying consumer goods though, and I should probably start selling consumer goods. That will really help with the energy problem I was facing. And here I'm actually just going to build a city district just to eliminate that housing project. And also we've managed to get the market here, and that as I said in the last episode, all we did to do that was we simply did the decision once and we left it. We had a high trade value here. There are some modifiers that, but as long as most of the AI aren't going to do it, other players tend not to do it sometimes as well, and it's not that expensive. It's definitely worth it. What I can also do now, I've got lots of planets. And I've got some fantastic colonists that are desperate to come onto these worlds. I've actually got two. I didn't even realize, but I have some rackets, which I recently got those, didn't I? Yes, but they unfortunately have this minus 10% pop growth. They do have psionic, which is very good, but they've got some the leader traits I don't mind. The governing ethics attraction is irrelevant. The amenities isn't great, so I am going to put rochoids, but these rackets are going to grow there as well, so that's not an issue. Yeah, so let us throw some rochoids. Let's just grab some of these. So that was, I tried to grab the size 18, and I suppose I'll grab the size 19 as well. Just 2 worlds for now. I'll grab more as I need them, but I'm not going to try and overload myself with planets. Again, I still not got it, so I'm going to take this mineral subsidies. And then here I'm going to go with synthetic thought patterns. Now this is an important technology. Synthetic thought patterns is required in order to be able to research synthetics. Along with galactic administration, you need synthetic thought patterns to be able to take the synthetic technology. And we need that for our synthetic ascension, which we'll be able to unlock that after we've, as an ascension perk after we finish this supremacy in just a few months. Brilliant, I finished supremacy, which is really good. And now I'm not going to take it yet, but I'm going to be taking the synthetic evolution when I can. I'm going to save it up. I haven't got many space habitats. I might be looking at Voidborn. I'd probably not though, since due to all those tomb worlds, I simply don't really need to be building the habitats. I've got 3, 4, 5, 6 worlds I can take, and this world over here, the arid world, I can also colonize that as well. So Voidborn, whilst helpful and definitely a fantastic perk, isn't probably one I'm going to be taking as my third perk. Master Builders, if I get there, is probably something I might take. I don't have a relic world, so Arcology project might be quite important as well. So we'll just have to see how it goes and see when we get Synthetic Ascension. It's fine to save on to this one for a little while though, if you're not going to be using it. One last thing, we've just unlocked Supremacy, so now we can choose a War Doctrine. So War Doctrines are interesting. We've got some ones. So Defense in Depth, that's a reasonable start. If you're on the defensive, Defense in Depth is going to be good, plus 10% fire rate. Hit and run's alright if you know you're going to be in a long protracted war where you've got many fleets and you know that you're about evenly matched with your opponent. Increased combat disengagement chance and reduction to your FTL damage is going to be really useful. That means you're going to be able to stay in the fight longer. You're not going to be able to need to produce as many ships because you'll be able to support the ships you have by repairing them. Rapid deployment, however, is what I'm going to change to. Plus 25% sublight speed is the big bonus here. That's going to give me flexibility. Speed is really important at the moment. Just to get to here, Rimborth would take me almost a year from my capital, and that's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 jumps away. 6 jumps away in total. So that's this. So let's just, before I take that, we'll just queue up somebody to move, see how long it would take. So see, almost a year, 280 days. Then I'm going to take it, and that should be quite drastically reduced. Probably need to end the month as well before it becomes effective. So let's attempt to send them there. 240, fantastic. We've just cut 40 days. 40 days can be the difference between defeat and victory. And then here, what are we looking at? Still no battleships, which is deeply upsetting, but we can take modular engineering, which will be kind of useful, I suppose, and it's the cheapest. We can knock that out in 10 months, which should be quite good. And that wraps it up for episode 18. If you've enjoyed this episode, please leave a like. If you've got any feedback, please leave a comment. And if you'd like to see more content like this, please subscribe. Thank you for watching.